Got about 40 seconds to go live. Wonder if you guys can see my eyes. I got my dark glasses on. I got my dark glasses on. So we're going to go with the dark glasses. All right. I think we got sound. All right. Let's see here. We're going to go. Say it with me, folks. President Trump, say it. Get used to it. I know that's going to get your attention. I wish I was lying. I am from the future, and I have the truth. And the truth is there's going to be President Trump. Let me get into it and explain. I kid you not. I kid you not. This all came from my time on TikTok today, and I was looking at content, been really focusing on blowing up the platform and the channel and everything else. And so one of the things that's annoying about my TikTok is that I'm just putting stuff out. So I don't have an algorithm per se. So it's not really it's not really doing much. I've got all these friends. I've got enough friends and followers. By the way, I'm happy. I'm just talking about it from a purely technical, and trust me, hang on. This story is good. Today's going to be a good one. I promise. This is for your kids too, by the way. You're going to want to play this for your fucking kids by the time it's over. I promise you. I promise you. All right. Even with the F-bombs, you're going to want to play it in front of your children, especially the ones that are in college right now. I promise. All right. So getting back to the core. Hold on. It was a story. All right. Man, I lost my train of thought. All right, let me start over because this is important. And I know where I was going with TikTok. So I'm going down. Sorry about that. I'll fix it in post. So I'm going down TikTok and I'm trying to figure out trying to get some content coming my way so I can find some other folks that do the same kind of thing, so I can attach to their friends and and you know what I mean? Doing the network thing. Like I got to be associated. I got to be in the room with the folks that want to watch long form rant, angry black man / white man, whatever you want to call it, rants, because this is more typical of the angry white man. All right. Anyway, so I'm trying to fix this problem right on TikTok. And so I put in some hashtags. I put in hashtag politics so I can get my feed juiced up a little bit, try to get some fucking content coming my way. Try to find some influencers on TikTok, not just dancers, right? I just want to find some stuff that's going to allow me to ride their wave. That's the game. And I discover several influencers, political influencers, Utes, as Joe Pesci said in My Cousin Vinny. The Utes are on there, and the Utes had a lot of the youth. These folks had, I'm totally dating myself. I know your kid's not going to get that reference. Fuck it. Go fucking look up Cousin Vinny. Watch it. There's a lot of cool stuff in it. Marissa Tomei's in there. It's fantastic. All right. And yeah, I just remember that Marissa Tomei's in there. Okay. I said it. So anyway, so the youth are influencing on TikTok, and, you know, I type in some liberal stuff and some conservative stuff. And one of the things that was consistent across the board, which scared everything out of me, any soul that was inside me I mean, I'm convinced I would put my entire life savings on this bet that Trump wins. I know I'm going crazy. You're like, oh, just you did a little sample on TikTok. All right, let me just explain. I felt what these kids are feeling, and I get why they're not gonna budge on some of this stuff. And these are the activists. These are the folks that are talking. You know, when I was 18, I was not worried about a whole bunch of shit, trying to score a bag of weed because it wasn't legal. You could go to jail for getting a little bag of weed. So I don't know what I was doing, playing basketball, doing dumb shit. But I voted R because I was told to vote, but I wasn't paying attention to politics. I remember there was some kerfluffle with the Bushes and the Clinton, the thing happened with Clinton. Of course, that was just horrible in conservative Lancaster. God forbid a president get a blowjob. I mean, that was like impeachable. They actually tried to impeach him for a fucking blowjob back then. Republicans, by the way. For all you fucking young kids just getting in. By the way, I'm on your side. You're not going to hate me. This isn't a daddy lecture, I promise. But this is going to piss everyone off. I promise. Everyone. So, and my lead should piss you off too, unless you're pro-Trump. But I'm saying President Trump, get used to it. This is my slim worldview. The small slice of data is my experience on TikTok. I encounter youths, young people of all ages, of all different kind of political stripes. And again, this isn't hours and hours and hours. Okay? I do my TikToking where everyone else does their scrolling in the privacy of your bathroom. All right? Let's just be honest. So it's just, sometimes when this research is happening, it's real time and it's aggregate from past experiences. But anyway, so I'm on there and I'm starting to, I watch a video. It's a young black girl. She's talking about, she's got 270,000 likes on TikTok. All right. So you're like, what the fuck does that mean? It just means that a lot of people actually hit the button and said, I like this. And it's hard to get, I don't get people that like my show clicking on it, liking stuff. I can't get the people that like me that say, hey, they won't click like. So getting a like is it's like a piece of gold in the social platform world, right? That's what it is. So she's got 277. I'm just talking big dick energy from this girl. That's a horrible, horrible sexist comment. But the point is that she was she was just like banging it. She had a ton of reach and everything else. I mean, she had to be making money from that post, put it that way. There were millions of views. So, and there was several, I kind of found some top influencers and all of them across the board were consistent about the righteous indignation that they're holding. And I felt that when she said it. And the thing that they're going at is they have access to information. They don't have to just choose the network. So this girl's talking about the Congo. She's talking about shit that's not being mainstreamed. Of course, it's side stream. I brought it up a couple times. I'm not well versed on the subject, but I know it's awful. And our fucking cell phones and everything I love about tech is kind of destroying a whole generation of folks. And I'm not minimizing it, by the way. It's fucking huge. And she was like going through details about that. Go one at a time, going through these horrible atrocities that are happening. And it wasn't just the Gaza thing, okay? It wasn't, but that was a core thing where they're kind of uniting across the board, youths, Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians. You know how I feel about the fucking libertarians, the Pontius Pilates of politics. They're all uniting. And by the way, you can say my brain's painting this pattern. I will argue that I'm very good at observing patterns. It's probably what makes me a little bit more neurodivergent than the next person. But I'm telling you, I felt this fucking thing going on. And it was that there's a righteous indignation that they're not going to budge. It doesn't matter. And I remember when I was working for the Obama campaign and I had a moment where I had that moment of righteous indignation where it's like, fuck you guys are doing it the old way. And that was when blankety blank, who was a leader in the local Democratic Party, who happened to be an attorney and run for Senate, and blankety blank was sitting across the table from me and another person. And we were talking about the fact that the campaign had decided not to take corporate money and everything else. And they had drilled it, even as volunteers, they drilled it into us. So, the pitch was perfect, right? And I was fucking killing that thing. I was selling that shit, the Obama shit, all the way along. If you don't, I say selling because that's what I was kind of doing. I was pimping it, evangelizing it, right? So I had all the arguments. I had all the objections. And so when this person came over to me talking about kind of this old corporate influence-y kind of thing going on, I made the statement, well, they're probably not going to want to associate with that because it took PAC money. This enraged this individual. I have a witness. I wasn't the only one there. The individual throws their card at me. I just remember thinking, wow, what a fucking goon. What a goofball. I'm a new guy coming into the party. This is how I get treated. But I remember thinking, I'm so right on this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much power he has, because this is how the campaign is selling it. They're the big guns in town going against Hillary during the primary. I'm not besmirching the individual who threw the business card at myself and the other the veteran who was sitting there beside me. I'm not a veteran. He was a veteran who did this whole thing. But I just remember that feeling of going, yeah, throw whatever at me, bro. It doesn't matter. We're standing on truth. So this is the way it's going to be. And it just felt good. And it was like, it didn't matter even if we lost the primary, which we did end up losing the primary to Hillary in Lancaster, but we got real close. It was really awesome. And of course, I tell that story about how kind of helped me to get my foot in the door in politics and then quickly get out and kind of found smashing the party in a way. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for another podcast. But so I remember that feeling of just knowing, like, I'm on the right side of history here. It doesn't matter. This is how it's going to go. Of course, Obama didn't stick to his PAC money thing. And of course, he opened it up. And that's a whole nother story, whole nother thing. But that righteous indignation of saying it doesn't matter what power you have or what experience you have, I know I'm right. I'm getting chest pains here. What's this? Hold on. Let me breathe. Get all excited. Not real chest pains, just excitement chest pains. So relax. I'm not going to have a heart attack on air. That would be weird. All right. So freaking that feeling that you have when you know you're right is what I saw in these TikTokers, every single one of them. And it's like, we've failed them, essentially. We have failed them. I mean, the world that they're growing up in, they're seeing all this conflict. It's not like the world we grew up in, my generation and up, where they could control what we saw. We didn't have these things. We really didn't. I hate to say it. I grew up in tech. I understand it. Apps are just as complex to me as they are you if you don't use them. But we didn't have this way of getting information like they do now. And towards the end, we did, of course, as early college, I guess we had the internet. But it was not like what we have now, right? You know what I'm saying? So, the 24 news cycle was just kicking in, just getting on its feet at that time. And so, they don't have, it doesn't matter if you shut something down. They still have access to friends. I mean, they play video games. They have chats. They can go on fucking Xbox Live and talk internationally. I mean, it's not like we're going to shut down communication. And this is an old mentality that you're seeing with this whole TikTok ban. It's just completely out of touch with the reality of, okay, so we're going to move the ownership to somebody else who's going to basically shit on it and turn it into shit because they think it's the old way. And so I'm watching TikTok and these folks who have these tons of followers. TikTok gets shut down. Boom. She just bounces to another platform. She takes everyone with her. I mean, she might lose half and she's still golden. I beg, borrow, and steal in a phony, made-up world where that was okay. I would do that to get half or quarter of what she had followers. And I say that because, I'm in this world of growing this platform. And so that stuck out to me like, okay, she's pretty much portable, I like to call it. Sean King got shut down on Instagram. He's portable. He could bounce up and just new platform, boom, he's got followers. Just like Donald Trump did on Truth Social, created a whole new network, right? Whether or not that's successful. Point is, there's many mechanisms for these kids to communicate, and they've kind of come to a conclusion that the adults have fucking fucked up. And I'm not going to lie and say I'm disagreeing with them because I've been bitching about it and moaning about it and just on my little platform and yelling and screaming. But I mean, we've got shit going on. It's not like we don't know what's going on and we hide it. We act like we have this weird veneer over everything. It's so fucking weird. It's like, oh, this isn't really happening. Like, we're not really watching the winners fucking disappear in Pennsylvania. And just like, oh yeah, well, we're going to have a debate on climate. I mean, it's just like this weird ass, like you want to smack people around, go, wake up. Like, stop it. Stop acting stupid. Your feelings don't matter. This is what the facts are. And so as the adults get all rammy and rambunctious about the fact that these kids are protesting and doing dumb shit, the kids are sitting on a pile of, yeah, you guys are fucking up. You can't argue with me that I'm wrong in that fact that you're killing people when we're watching it. You can't argue with me with the fact that the money I'm paying that even I'm paying to this school, which is an exorbitant amount, which I've leveraged my future on, is going and being invested in the arms companies and is, other foreign countries as opposed to my education. Now, there's a whole complex web as an alumni of Drexel. Proud of it, happy with it. Don't want to hate on Drexel, but Drexel's right in the bed with the military industrial complex. We got Boeing, Raytheon, Northrop Gun, whatever. All those companies are co-ops. You can get NSA in there too, right? Whatever you want, you get in. That's why I went there. It was a really good opportunity. So there's a web of how these companies are in bed with these universities, just like universities for medical things, or, medical is probably the best thing, where it's like, you have this refined engineering, this high precision engineering, and you want to have that collaboration with the university. So it becomes this entanglement that happens naturally. I mean, I worked on projects when I worked for Drexel for a small time. I never filed my paperwork, Drexel, by the way, but I do have witnesses that I worked there. It's weird. I was so irresponsible. This is when I dropped out the first time. But I worked for Duplex Lab, built some software, wrote some software for them. And I remember even through a lot of the grants that we were trying to get, they were through DARPA or through the DOD, or that was how we got our money, because they were always throwing money at that time. I don't even know how that structure is today. I'd have to look into it. But so these students are standing on truth in all shape and form. And you can't say, hey, look, you're fucking wrong here, and get them to listen, because they're right. You have to take another tact. And one of the tacts that I see, by the way, all of this to my lead, which says President Trump, because they're both sides, all sides saying, fuck it, we're going to non-committed. I argued with somebody on the street probably a week ago, maybe watching. I argued that, oh no, the kids will vote. They'll vote. These are activists. They'll vote. I am now convinced that the narrative has changed so much that they're going to piss off the adults, and they're going to do whatever, including Democrats. Everyone was calling out every party, even their own parties. Look, small sample. This is a huge following, though, okay? And you can take it with a grain of salt. Maybe you have children. Actually, the person on the street was saying, yeah, this is the way it is, Nate. I argued, as someone who has no kids, she argued, oh yeah, this is how our kids, my husband, this is, we got to talk, or me and my partner, we've got to talk to our kids and his kids and everything else. And they're coming back. Of course, and I was like, well, is your kid going to vote? And of course, yes. And I don't want to identify the person because they're a business owner, a successful business owner. But I bowed to being wrong completely. Because I am convinced now, just on my small sample during my private time on TikTok, that I have just kind of come to be a believer that the kids are there, and they've got that indignation, which I'm trying to kind of articulate. That's just so feels good, and it doesn't matter. Death becomes you, and it's just okay because you're standing on a pile of truth and you're going out a legend. That kind of feeling, right? And I'm being serious. Like, this is a real feeling of like you're doing the right thing and you're fighting the power, and it's all good. And I get off on that stuff, but I think everybody has a little bit of that desire to have autonomy and have that feeling. So look, this is where I get a little technical, and I even drew a little graph for us. We'll see if I can get it up. That's a double entendre. Didn't mean it. Sorry. Let me see. All right. See if I can get this. All right. So I've set up the kind of environment where I'm going to get into this academic position for a small second, but let me just kind of wrap it up. So I'm not let me kind of glue everything together. I'm saying that I think I'm confident Trump's going to win. And a lot of it has to do with the youth vote. And I'm seeing a trend on all sides amongst the youth that they're just pissed off, and they're not buying the bullshit. They're not buying the bullshit. I mean, they are very articulate about their demands, about the divestiture of companies and everything else. I mean, these are again, I understand how activism works, and I understand you always have kind of the most powerful, pushing the envelope at the fringe, doing the most radical things to get the point across. All of that in consideration, I'm still saying, and you guys have children, I have none. I'm saying these kids are like, nah, we're not buying the bullshit. I don't understand XYZ. Now you still have parents raising traditional, these kids that are indoctrinated to think the old way. And I'm saying that because I think it is the old way. I agree philosophically with these kids. Now, what I don't agree with is how they then go through and they justify standing out of the election and justify with details about not voting for Biden. And if you know anything about this show and how I think, I'm thinking that placenta is better president, would make better decision, placenta, than Trump. So it's a non-starter. I'm not a never Trumper. It's like, that's a weird thing. It's not even a consideration. Okay. Like, it's that bad. It's a non-starter. And there's so much evidence to support this. We go on and on, go back through my videos. I talk about it. I go crazy. You can watch me go crazy real time while I'm watching this fucking nightmare with the malignant narcissist in charge of the country. Having dated them before, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell? All right, that was how I felt. All right, there's my expletive for you. So, but when you watch these kids and you hear them talk about it, their points are standing. And like, why would they budge? Why would they go, oh, you know what? We think we believe you this time on this other thing. Even though you're feeding us this line, we're going to believe you on this thing. And so they're convinced. And so what I want to say to them, they don't see the risk of Trump. In fact, they articulate that. I was like blown away. I'm like, all this, and you really land there? They're like, well, Trump, we already know Trump's not that bad. We survived Trump was the language they used. We survived Trump. And they're right. We survived it. I mean, some people didn't survive it. I would argue like maybe 1 million or so that kind of got, oh yeah, this is maybe a thing. Oh no, maybe it's not. Okay, I'll make confusion and doubt my fucking top medical officer. So people are now running around acting like they're fucking freedom patriots without a fucking mask. Oh, I'm a patriot because I don't have a mask on. I mean, that's the kind of shit we had to deal with. Oh yeah, we survived that fucking crazy time. I mean, I don't know if what age you were. Like maybe you were, oh, we're on lockdown. It's cool. We're just doing our homework or whatever. I don't know. I'm totally coming at you, Utes. I'm coming at you. But it was not a fucking fun time. And it wasn't, we don't want to just survive a fucking administration. We don't want to survive another administration. Like the surviving that you're talking about wasn't really in any shape or form surviving. It was like a massacre. They massacred the economy. Oh, it was good before. Come on, stop fucking playing. Just because you say it over and over and over and over and over and over doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean it. Okay, that's first. But so they're going around and around and basically coming to the conclusion that Trump is acceptable. And so I got to kind of break out and go, okay, look, this is where I'm going to try some fucking Karl Rove shit. And we're going to try to bring a graph. It's not full screen. All right. Now, this is my little graph. All right. I came up with this probably 20 minutes before I went live. I swear to God, I wrote it in the back. And I want to explain it because I want these kids, since you're in college, I'm going to give you a little lesson. It's totally ad hoc. It's probably going to crumble. But there's a point to it. And the point is that this green, you can see it. Hold on. This green, let me see if I can get full screen. This green that's off center, slightly to make it annoying for all the OCD people, represents democracy in a weird way, okay? It's democracy. And that is what you have. That's what we have here. That's what you have to have. I'm not saying the way we have democracy is the best, but that's what it is, okay? And then I was like, well, what is Trump really? Why is he a threat to democracy? That's such a grand statement, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, let's think about what parts make up democracy that are key. And I came up with these out of my noggin, little grease in the wheels. And I'm thinking, all right, well, you have to have collaboration. Of course, we have collaboration. It's shitty. We can argue that Congress never gets anything done. But you can't have democracy if you don't have some kind of collaboration. And some of that collaboration is through laws and policy, but you end up agreeing on some structure or boundary, right? So then I also kind of actually drew this in a little different way when I was doing it. Let me just see if I can get me on camera. I drew it a little different way. So the way I drew it on the whiteboard is I kind of drew a big circle, and then I drew like circles inside of circles, kind of like a Russian doll thing, right? The reason I did that is because I was trying to think of, all right, look, is there a hierarchy to them? And these three things, look, there's more, okay? But I'm saying largely you need collaboration, agreement. You also need autonomy. The people need autonomy. So when I was talking about what I was drawing, I kind of started out with people, and then I drew like, all right, what do these people want ultimately? They want to be able to do what they want, right? But then they're in a group, so they have to be collaborating. And then ultimately they want to be you want representation amongst that group, right? That's democracy, and that comes through voting. That comes through our structure of how we have it, and we have a democracy that's representative. It's a what is it? Democratic Republic, I think they call it, or some shit where we're represented. We have representative government. It's not like my vote changes law, although you can have state laws that are changed by my vote. But we have representative government where I vote for somebody. They go that, and then they do the things and represent and write laws, and they represent me. I'm a constituent. So you have to have that representation. If you don't, for instance, let's say I take away autonomy. I say you have to vote for Vladimir Putin. I mean, is that a democracy? If I say, look, I have collaboration, we have representation, but you don't have autonomy, you have to vote this way. Okay, that's not a democracy. Collaboration. If I say, all right, you can vote however you want, you're represented, but no one works together. Like we just all have 50,000 factions. How is it going to work? How are you actually going to get anything done? You can't. So collaboration has to happen. Representation means if you have collaboration and autonomy, but you aren't represented, your ideas or your views or your vulnerabilities aren't represented or protected, then everything falls apart too, and you have chaos because everyone's fighting for survival and trying to get resources. So I, not a sociology PhD, broke down democracy into these three pieces to make my argument. I think it's sound. Let's just show the board again. See if I can get that full screen. But it also makes sense, all right? Because we know that there might be other things, and maybe there's, things inside of these circles that represent, collaboration, meaning passing laws, policy, autonomy, that could be bodily autonomy, freedom to move around, whatever it is. You can go way crazy. And then representation could be, we don't want, it could be a king, but that wouldn't be democracy. That wouldn't, unless the king's representing everybody. That doesn't, how do I get the vote? So you kind of have to break that into what representation means. And obviously we came up with this three forms of government, yada, yada, yada. So then I can get crazy. We can talk all PhD level shit. Maybe I read a couple books. I can actually sound intelligent. But this is my breakdown, okay? Now, we all would probably agree they're part of what democracy needs, if not everything, if I was really good at this. And so what is Trump a threat to? Well, first of all, we're talking about our collaboration. We already have bullshit that doesn't get done right now. We know Trump becomes more divisive and creates more divisiveness across the board. Everything becomes a policy issue. Everything's win-loss because his brain, built like a narcissist, is win-loss. That's it. It's either he wins or loses. That's it. There's no other, oh, you win, I get nothing. He loses in that case. He's not looking for a win for you. He's looking for wins for himself, whether it be through vanity or whatever. So Trump is going to do whatever it takes to make every issue a win or loss. So that's going to break down our collaboration. As far as autonomy, that's where it gets scary as shit. Because Trump has actually said, I'm going to come after my enemies. I'm going to imprison people. I'm going to start the political engines against my enemies, smite them and shit. So we're talking about him removing the ability for dissent. He said it. It's not like, oh, we can survive it. Last time was a trial run, young kid. Listen, that was a trial run. He learned some shit. He got impeached twice. We didn't have the balls to do it. So now he knows he can fucking really push on the levers. That was boundary testing. Next one's the execution. Read some fucking history, for Christ's sake. It's not unlike, I mean, I don't want to Godwin's Law you, but Godwin's Law you, okay? Google that if you don't know what it is. Godwin's Law. I'll just say that. So I would argue that Biden is not going to come after his enemies. I don't care if you think he's coming after Trump. That's the law, coming after Trump. Biden is not going to try to break down a representation. Trump has actually said, I want to be a dictator. Fuck representation. I mean, this is, so all the things that you want, all the things that I want, all the things we agree on, we can't have if this circle just dissipates. So basic things, I wanted to call it like something similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like democracy's hierarchy of needs. You know, in order to get people out of the Congo and everything else, we have to have a civilization. We have to be able to execute policy. We have to be able to collaborate. We have to have representation. Do you think that if there's an economic interest there, that you're going to have representation with President Trump and you're just going to pass up on the vote? It's the opposite. It's so opposite. So it's not like I'm not with you about the righteous indignation about Congo, about Gaza, about all the different things happening in Sudan, Syria, all over the world, in our local backyard, in Binns Park, all that shit. I'm with you. But if we don't keep this circle together, this isn't a threat. This is what the person will do. We know they'll do the things they say they'll do. Every single thing Trump said he wanted to do, he was pretty good at getting the dumb shit done he wanted to do. Even the stuff Republicans just rubber stamped. Why do you think they allowed him in there? And look what Mitch McConnell had a stroke on TV. We have those type of people making decisions for you. And these were young females that I saw. There was two males that I saw, a jock kind of libertarian guy going off on about like, oh, you know, how Trump is not that bad and all that shit. The other, you know, the woman, I was surprised. The black girl, nothing about abortion, no concern about that. You know, no, I mean, again, I'm not saying that I should tell her or she should. I'm almost being kind of patriarchal by saying, hey, this is your priority of what you should believe. I'm not saying that. I want her to have different views, and maybe we don't even agree on all those things. I actually do, though. But what I would say is we can't do this stuff. Like if the windows are all bashed and we can't live in the house, if like we burn it down, we can't even like rebuild it. We can't remodel. We can't even do stuff. So let's keep the house together at least. Like I know it's held up by fucking fragile little Post-its and shit like that. But if you vote for Trump, these things are not going to be the same way. So let's say it's not, I don't think that's survivable. I don't think it's survivable when you have a president who says, I'm going to be a dictator. We're going to get rid of term limits. I'm going to have complete autonomy over your autonomy. Collaboration, fuck that. I'm a dictator. I get done what I want. You're basically trusting all of your shit with this guy who has a problem agreeing with the last thing that he heard every single day of his life. That's how our foreign adversaries manipulate him. They know if they're the last person in his ear to tell him something good, puff him up a little bit, scratch his underside, play with his taint, Trump gets off on that. He's like, yes, you're my guy. That's it. I don't care what I said yesterday. This guy loves me. His wife's pleasant. She's wonderful. She's wonderful, wonderful. I can't do him. Okay. But my point is like, this isn't going to end well. And so let's stick together. Let's work with the government we have. I'm not happy. Trust me. I'm on I told you so mountain for Elizabeth Warren all day long. All day long. We wouldn't even be in this weird ass situation with her lighting up people that come against. She's nastier than Trump, bro. And she's articulate about it. You guys missed it. We all missed it. She was lethal. I watched her execute again and again and again under pressure, like she was the only girl in her house against three boys. Boom, lighting people up. We could have had her. We could have had her running shit right now. But we had decided to go with, oh, it's Joe's time. And so we went with Joe, and of course I'm pulling. I'm not stupid. Again, placenta is better than Trump because at least placenta, I know it's not going to do anything. Nothing. I don't have to worry about it saying anything stupid, doing anything stupid. It has no ego. It just bleh. And I listen, I know that is a horrible, horrible. I just use that because it's visceral and it's how I feel about him as a president. It's just like something that you don't need and discard it. It's done. It's over with. It needs to go. And again, I don't know anything about placenta really. I thought it was something colorful and I've landed on. Look, as I said yesterday, I'm going to land on some weird shit. I'm going to say some stuff that's going to piss people off. I know that. But my larger point that I'm making is President Trump is going to happen. It's going to happen because the youth right now are standing on top of a truth pile and it's a powder keg to try to fuck with it. By the way, talk about a powder keg. Hillary Clinton gets in there today and she says, these kids, they need to understand history. I'm like, look, if Democrats have learned anything, I love Hillary Clinton. I wanted her to be president at one point after I went through my indoctrinated hate, but it doesn't work. Something's not, they won. They won with Hillary Clinton, meaning you trounce her out, they will have sound bites no matter what she says. When she says the truth, they slice it up and dice it up and it becomes marketing. Hillary Clinton. I don't know why I'm voting for Trump, but Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's how it is. I know. I was on the campaign. I might have been one of those people that was like, I'll never vote for her when I was stupid and young and naive. And look, I admit I was stupid, young, and naive. And I'm not saying you're stupid, young, and naive if you're going to vote for Trump or sit out. But I think you might be not smart or not thinking or maybe not thinking through the core of what we have here. We can't have anarchy and expect you think you're going to get the Congo fixed when we have chaos running amok here. We're talking about a Gatling gun of scandals happening. No time to focus any media attention on anything else. Nothing except him, and that's by design. So there's a lot of things that happen that you don't like. The fact that you're protesting, keep it up, keep going. Shut down the colleges. I'm okay with it. Do whatever you need to do. But vote for Trump, vote for Biden when it comes down to it, because that is going to allow you to continue to protest. Do you really think you're going to be able to protest shit with a dictator in play? Come on. This is not, it can't happen in America. Bullshit. These cops are chomping at the bit to fucking execute their little military patches in these rural areas when they're fucking stacked with, everyone's like kind of on a powder keg ready to fucking go on Trump land. And I say cops because unfortunately a large swath of them are Trumpers. God, I hate saying that, but it's true. Went to a reunion, guys scrolling through, look at a picture of Trump. Just like, no. Cop. All right, I'm not going to hate on cops today. That's another story. I don't hate on cops. The role is stupid. The people are nice, but the people are stupid when they're in the role. All right, anyway. Look, if you're young, if you're old, and you understand what's at stake here, it's not being fear-mongering, saying what I'm saying. I'm saying the things that Trump said. I'm saying the things that he said he wants to do. It's not like, Nate, you're just going off on conspiracy land. Yeah, you're like the black Alex Jones freaking out and shit. I'm not freaking out. This is like verbatim. It's so stupid that we're actually acting like it's not something that's a real threat. Every single issue that you're protesting is a real issue and needs to be addressed. And that's why I say, stand firm. I don't care. Make them divest. Shut it down. Oh my, what an inconvenience. I'll do a whole podcast on how happy I am when protests are really, really fucking inconvenient, because that means they're working. So I am on your side on that. Where I'm not on your side is where you're going to sit this out because you think that's going to be, and I told you so moment before, it's going to be a, wow, what a regret. Wow, what a regret. How stupid was I when I did that? Wow, what a wasted vote. Man, I should have just kept on protesting and went with Biden. Why did I fucking even think it was even a smart idea to put someone who's crazy? And then to think that we survived it is enough. No, we're not going to survival. You're fighting for people to get out of survival mode. I'm not going to go in survival mode. So let's not do the dumb thing and completely throw out our vote. But no one's going to listen to this. No one's going to watch this. I am not going to change the events that are going to occur in November. And the events that are going to occur in November, I'm leaning on one large piece of it, which is the youth are not on the side of democracy this time in one regard. However, they're living it by protesting. So I suggest and say, if you have a youth that's in this, kudos to them for doing that thing. It's not easy to protest, especially when you're putting your whole career at risk. That's awesome. That's some shit. That's Martin Luther King shit right there. What's not Martin Luther King shit, though, is not voting. Martin Luther King then ended up, no matter who would have won the presidency, he was going to go down there and try to get laws passed and things changed. So, of course, he had to vote, but I guarantee you that if there was an option of total chaos where you don't know how it's going to play out because you want the system to crumble, or, hey, we can pull these levers and do these things and get this done, real fucking change. Not this magical, oh, I'm just going to be mad and pouty because I don't get. By the way, you're talking to Mr. Mad and Pouty about not getting my way in politics. I hate it. I wish I would be a benevolent dictator, right? You'd vote for me. You'd entrust everything with Nate's emotional state because he's mad and what. I mean, jokes aside, no one person should have that much power. No one person's that stable. I don't give a shit. Calm, cool, collected Obama was in the back smoking cigarettes, all cool on camera, but motherfucker was chowing him down. Don't even think so. Don't even think he wasn't. So it's everyone has that. And so we don't want somebody who has no wherewithal or even any kind of core essence to be in charge of everything, let alone put our experiment at risk by saying, oh, I'm pouty, I'm going to stand it out, even though there's a risk of a fucking dictator, which is completely un-American. There's no chance that you're going to get anything you want done with a dictator. It's not my best work, folks, okay? But that's my pitch to the children. If the children are watching, look, I'm with you. Stand strong on all your protesting. I love how you expanded the protest to divest in military culture and everything else, even though that might be bad for my alma mater and even engineering as a whole. I still argue it's the right thing to do. What the fuck? Of course, it would impact our economy. I don't care. So I'm with you. I'm literally walking through the arguments, just like skiing down the slopes with you, except for when you say you're not going to vote. That's when I kind of get back on and go back on the lift and find another slope, because it makes no sense to say we're going to vote we're just going to allow Trump to happen when we know that he's going to take away our autonomy, when we know it's going to be less collaboration. And he's argued he's going to be a dictator, and that doesn't sound like representation at all, is my point. So, look, I feel like there's some cogent arguments in there. I feel like I made a point. My probably weakest point is whether I've structured democracy into 3 circles. But those circles, if you noticed my little graph, if we pull that up, I just want to say it, so I'm totally going to frustrate all my people that don't like off center. You see how the circles don't cover up all the green? Well, I didn't have time to draw all the other little circles that involved, and it's not by scale. So therefore, it's completely accurate no matter what you say. It can't be really refuted in any academic setting because I've given myself enough loopholes. I'm trying to look for a screen here, damn it. All right, there it is. Let me just get that. Sorry. All right, listen. So sorry about that little digression at the end. Let's just wrap it up, and I'll do some good news, bad news for you. It's really going to be good news, but you got to wait for it. There's a little bad news. All right. President Trump, say it with me, will be president because the youth are convinced they're doing the right thing and are not going to vote. And we don't have the excitement level. And Nate has other podcasts and live streams. He's going to talk about the other reasons. I'm not trying to like really say things that just to scare you. I'm confident that I'm right on this, and I wish I wasn't, but I'm going to stand firm on that. We'll get into the other reasons why, but today's focus is on the youths. Remember my cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei, we've got some learning to do. If we're old, if we're young, we're watching this for some reason because your mom or dad said, hey, watch this. This guy's crazy, but he's got some good points. Or maybe they say, don't watch this guy. He's fucking nuts. Whatever they say, I think that there's an argument to be made that says you can't sit this election out. There's too much at stake. If you listen to the words of President Trump, former President Trump, ex-President Trump, President Trump, he says what he's going to do. He's telegraphing it. It's not, you don't need a PhD and like translate. He's not using big words. He's not using allegories or metaphors. He's literally saying exactly what he's going to do. And so if you're okay with that and you think that your policies and all your protests are going to go herd more and you're going to teach a lesson to anybody, the lesson's going to be a hard one to learn for everybody. It's not worth it. Please, I beg of you. And if you're still okay to vote for Trump, I get that we're not going to agree on a lot of things, but you're going to have to continue to engage in the show and maybe make some comments. And you're really just going to have to keep watching because I think that for whatever reason, you're my demographic. Motherfuckers that love Trump love this show for some reason. I shit you not. You should see my inbox. It's amazing. Maybe I'll do a show on just my inbox, but all my friends, and I appreciate it. So jokes aside, it's not a joke to have President Trump, in my opinion. I think it's a fatal mistake to our democracy. I feel like he's going to be what he says he's going to be, and it's going to be a threat to anything that you want done. So no matter where you are, what policy is important to you, you have to have the house standing before you can kind of weather through the storm. Otherwise, you're fucked. That's it for that. Now, let's get to some good news. I know it sounds crazy. I've been telling you good news every day because the truth is it's been good news every day. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you guys, and when I say a lot of it, 99.99999%, there's a small percentage of me needing to show up and be competent. But truth be told, it's been kind of crazy. I looked at the numbers from before and when I was ramping up and how things grew. And I even did a soft launch of After Hours, which is my non-political, non-angry, happy-go-lucky, fun in the sun guy show interview with other people. That soft launch, it's fucking doing fantastic. The numbers that I show of friends and followers, I mean, if I had that kind of reach with the amount of followers I'd have, I would have 1 million people, maybe 2 million people following me right now. So that's the multiplier that I have on reach. So, and I don't want to just look, it sounds kind of crazy. And people that are in these numbers, you know, when you boost things, you can get high numbers with a boost. This is all organic. When you look at how my graph of my followers or my new reach, it shows you a percentage of how many people are followers versus how many people are non-following accounts. 75% are non-following accounts. I didn't do shit. I didn't boost anything. I've done nothing. So somehow people are kind of finding out about it organically a little bit. And when I say it's, you know, again, this is local. This is not viral globally. But what it means is that there's a market where it can do that. And so I need more eyeballs on it. And that just means I need to, you know, again, I know that I'm going to walk around this town and people are going to be like, fuck that guy. And they're not going to like me. And they're going to be like, maybe they don't even have me on social media. So there's not enough people in this town to hate me and like me and to get to where I want to go. So that means that this market's like where we're learning how to kind of get our message across and how it's going to resonate and what things are doing. And I'm not by any means going crazy with things because I don't have the time to go balls to the wall and automate every single thing and then do data analytics on it. But what I can tell you is looking at pure data. This trajectory is really awesome. If I can continue it for 3 months, I'm in a good position. So, look, there's always an initial kick when I get back on live of excitement, and then people kind of trail off. But there's been a little bit more excitement this time, and I think that it's because I don't know, maybe people like to see a comeback. I don't know, but it's been really good, and I'm honored because there's dark moments doing this. I'm doing other things, trying to make a living. I'm doing this. I care about it. I don't want to look like a dumbass when I get on here. So I try to put things together somewhat in a coherent way and do my bathroom research, if you will, my private research. Can't believe I said that. Anyway, so that's where I get my moments and whatever. And so it's, there's moments where you're like, I don't watch the show. Sometimes I'll listen to it, but I can't watch it because I still know the audio's not in sync, and I'll fix it someday. But I don't care because people are listening to it. All these problems I'm having, it's been clunky. I've missed. Yesterday's was blurry, and people listen to it. Yesterday was blurry, and people are listening to it, messaging me. I'm like, you didn't even say a comment about how blurry it was and how shitty it was, because no one's watching. Which again. The podcast is coming. It's going to be five episodes. So I'm not bullshitting you on that. Been talking about it. And, I went through my design paralysis, got through it, decided on my format and everything else. So we're ready to roll. And I'm like, all right, well, people like to listen to it. They do not give a shit about my fancy animated purple background that scrolls. They don't care whether I have the sunglasses on that transition, or I have my little Malcolm X spectacles, or my Jeffrey Dahmers. I got some Dahmers I haven't put on yet. I call them my Jeffrey Dahmers. All right. So I got all kinds of shit. I got solid glass representation. I could go probably at least 4, 5, 6, 7 days with different glasses on and still wow you. I wouldn't do it because it'd be a little bit vain, but my glasses game is strong. All right. Anyway. It's been good. And so it's a little bit exciting. I do get nervous. It's dark sometimes, kind of. There's moments where you have self-doubt, and it's like, all right, this is a little flurry. Again, this flurry isn't like 10 million people, but it's enough to say, oh, there's a blip. It's like, okay, cool. Keep that blip. And it goes up and down. But it's like, okay, these blips are kind of nice. And you kind of look at the average. You're like, holy shit. So it's been good, and I like it. And part of, I think, what people are open to is just me being as fucking real as I can be and just saying it like I say it, but also trying to not just emanate pure anger and rage. I try every night to try to give some morsel where someone go, oh, I didn't know that, or that's kind of cool, or, oh yeah, that was an interesting concept. And then, yeah, there's some anger in there and hopefully made you think, but that's kind of where the goal is for this show. The other show is a whole different thing. And I don't want to do it. I'll do a small plug for it, but so I want to say thank you again. It's been great. The numbers are great. They're fantastic. They're not where I can sell advertising yet, but I'm not far off. Okay. And I mean that because if I have you have to have a little bit of time to see how that works. So, 3-4 months and the numbers are still good. Even if the numbers plateau at a certain rate, I'm in a good position to monetize this. And why does that mean anything? It just means it can be self-sustaining. Maybe I get a producer that can kind of help me edit things or something like that. Again, I've said this before. If I can make this sustaining, or I can just get on here, do my content and have an engine, whether it be automated or some personnel. I'd love personnel, but I'm a programmer, so I'm going to automate what I can and hopefully build it up so where it's like kind of like a team effort, but it's a one-man show. And then add to it so I have that big barrier to entry that other people don't have. I have a platform, an engine. So that's the goal. And the goal of all that is not for vanity. As long as it's self-sustainable, I want to be able to yell and scream about shit that I care about. And the bigger we get, the better we get. And the more power you have when a larger platform, because you have more ears and more eyeballs and more weight to your words. Now, of course, that may require me to make some changes to the dialogue. And that's why I'm also trying to work on my camera presence as well as my interviewing skills so that I can do this. Look, I'm kind of reinventing myself part-time in the night, in real time. Get on the fucking train. It's going to be fun. I mean, what the hell can go wrong, right? I mean, you've already seen pretty much everything. I've told you dumb shit. now know I do my research on the toilet. I mean, what else do you want? With that being said, please continue to support it. Hopefully the potty language jokes don't piss you off. Maybe the fuck, the Jesus Christ, the goddamn it did. That's too bad, because that's probably not going to change. But I will tell you, maybe you also got something interesting out of it, and maybe you can put together something coherent to talk to the folks that are thinking, hey, look, we're just going to just pass up. You can kind of pull this video up, pull out that chart, say this represents a breakdown of democracy from a high level. Now, and then you can paint all the little, use all the colorful little words that give you a little out in case somebody really smart comes in and says that's so fucking wrong, it's not even funny. Anyway, the truth is that I like giving these tidbits. You guys seem to respond to it. I appreciate it. If you get mad, people still don't get it. People message me in my inbox. It's lovely. I love getting the messages. Everyone messages me on my inbox. I know. I get it. I do try to read them. I don't get right back to them because depending on how it's going to go, that may not even be a valid way for me to respond in a scalable way. So I've tried to get away from messages, but people continue to message Smashing the Party After Hours continually. I prefer you engage on the page, but please keep the messages coming. So I'm like, no, stop, stop. No, keep it coming. It's really what I'm looking for. Is I appreciate the engagement. I actually appreciate the fact that you gave it time to watch it, because it is how I look at this. Is my art. It's an expression. It is me. It's nothing but me. You're getting the real deal here. So hopefully that resonates, and you can you'll continue to support me, and we can make this sustainable. Oh, one last thing. This is kind of the bad news, good news. So the whole domain thing that I've talked about, lost it through no fault of my own. As a technical person, it's super embarrassing. It's the only domain out of 35, 40 domains that I lost, oddly. There's a plan, and I have all that content to put it back up. I have a domain and everything. So that's another promise, is I'm going to get back into the writing piece of it, because from me, I think having the writing, having the podcast, having the live stream, and then just having some kind of engine spitting out content gives me enough of a feed where I can kind of be in the mix and hop on top of the algorithms, as well as not lose my entire life to becoming a social media digital creator. I'm a part-time digital creator right now, but I will go full-time, y'all. If you want to pay for it, if you want to sponsor me, say, yo, dude, your shit is hot. Let's get you full-time. Let's talk. I'll fucking do it. Adidas, Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, Eddie Murphy. I don't give a shit. White guy, black guy, but prefer one of those people. Oprah. I don't give a shit. I would do it. But in the meantime, this is how we build it. We build it organically. It's working, and I appreciate it. And it's all because of you guys. And that's why After Hours is going to be not about Nate. After Hours was my first interview last weekend, and I have another one coming this week. Have some shifting of people because of some events. So, but we have a full stack, probably, I'd say, I may be exaggerating. I'd say maybe 9 weeks out, 9 to 12, because we have flaky. And I look at that as people are just, it's a different forum to be live, and it's a little bit intimidating. I have some people that are super thrilled about it, excited. Other people are very nervous. So I want to put this out there. That is a forum where I want to bring normal people. I'm not looking to have it be about me, and everyone's interesting. I'm not just saying that. Like, I will find a fucking interesting conversation with any person on the planet. You think you're boring? Come on my show. I'll fucking make you interesting. I'm not kidding. I do believe that this is another talent that I can kind of hopefully articulate in this forum and maybe hone. If it's not a talent, maybe it's a skill that I can learn to appreciate, because wouldn't it be cool to be able to take people and then, no, I'm not special. No, I watch these podcasts of these famous people, and I'm thinking, why are you podcasting? You were good at basketball. You're good. And some of them are great. I'm not saying, but everyone's doing it now. I feel like I'm in the mix. I definitely want to put myself in a tier above somebody who's a professional, not because I'm anything bad about it, but I have a high bar for myself. When I would look back on this, I would want to say, all right, I've accomplished these things, and I've gotten better at this thing. So After Hours is going to be that place where it's going to be. more less about me and more about other people. And I've heard this now from, I'd say, 4 people. That's not an exaggeration, who have said to me, "Yeah, I'm not interesting." And I fucking asked them to come on the show because I think what they do is interesting. So it's like, all right, well, I don't want to be like a weird fanboy, but dude, yeah, I think what you're doing is pretty awesome. I do. I like it. It's pretty cool. I grew up with you, so I think it's great. Like, tell me, how the fuck did you get into that? And how did you land there? It's an interesting thing that everyone can relate to. I can't relate with Tyler Perry buying 10 studios or built, but I can relate to the guy that worked hard, saved up some money, and now they're doing this side thing where they're doing their dream at 48, 49 years old, and they made these life choices. That's interesting to me. And so I think that will be cool to have other people display and talk about their story. Throughout this podcast, throughout these different streams, my story will come to fruition. How I decided to articulate that, I bounced back and forth from doing like a hard line, here's who Nate is, to just kind of sprinkling around. But After Hours will be the place where we get to know everyone else. And so far it's resonating. And so I'm going to put it out there. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. And I say that because there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, but somehow our society has said, oh, that's something different. So if that's a job that you have and you want to come on the show, fucking let's do it. I could care less. I want it. And I'm saying this to artists. And so I'm not trying to devalue this, by the way. So if you come on and you're like, oh, you're going to have everyone. No, I'm going to make it interesting. And anybody that can come on the show has a story. And hopefully I can get that story out, even in normal shit, right? That'd be pretty cool. So that's the long-term vision for After Hours. Non-political. I'm not looking to beat people up or get people's opinions, but like, let's extract the cool human awesomeness that is your essence. And yeah, you never heard of this person, but it's fucking dope. That's fucking awesome. Cool ass shit. Anyway. So dreams aside, you guys are helping me fulfill them. And I said this before, I get excited about it. I get nervous. There's moments of self-doubt. Every single time I have that self-doubt, I look at my phone, unfortunately, and the fucking numbers are going up. So I'm probably going to have a major depressive episode when the numbers stop. Jokes aside, joke. But it's just nice, and I appreciate the validation. I'm going to wrap. I think I went long tonight. I don't know if there's any comments I want to read, but I forgot to hit record. No, I did record it, but it's just not on the podcast. Let me see if there's any comments real quick. See if you guys kind of different background. Oh, there you go. Well, I look at comments. Oh, something else I wanted to say to you guys and gals and people. Listen, somebody gave me stars. I didn't know that I had stars set up on Smash the Party. Like someone dropped like $10 in stars. So that was awesome. I didn't know it until today. So it happened in the beginning of April. I didn't even know stars was on Smash the Party. But what stars are, if you're on Facebook, you can actually give me stars and that turns into revenue. So I got $10 in my account that I now have to pay taxes on, apparently, or whatever that works. But I was just like, holy shit, somebody dropped it. And I don't know how to find out who did it. I think there is a way to turn that on. But I want to say thank you. And that's a way that you can help out the show. I mean, anything that goes in that account is going to go right back into marketing for Smashing the Party or After Hours. So it's not like you're going to see me, if that thing grows huge, you're not going to see me in a new car. You're just going to see me blow up. So the more money that I get towards this, the more I'm going to put into the marketing side of it so that it's heavy on the blasting of the trumpet. Like think of like the trumpet Gabriel, whatever the fuck your religious affiliation is with trumpets. That's what I want to be. The harker. All right. Anyway, enough of the sacrilege. I apologize to my folks that think I'm making fun. I'm not. But with that being said, I got this cool ass background. I think I'll wrap on that. Make sure you check out After Hours. Make sure you follow me, subscribe, comment. Look, I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. YouTube and TikTok are my preferred places where I could grow. I need the most help. Facebook is growing nicely. Everything's good there. TikTok's definitely doing better than YouTube. But give me a follow. Even if you're not a YouTuber, you might have YouTube. Give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. I need to get to 1,000 before anything happens there, and I'm at 49. I think somebody followed me yesterday. Thank you, by the way. So I'm at 49 on YouTube. There's a lot I can do for YouTube to make things better by editing videos and everything else. And that's one of the other kind of things I'd like to do is get some of this content sliced up and put into format that'll work better with the YouTube algorithms and try to grow that seriously. And it's been a tough hoe. So that's the bad news I was going to talk about is my YouTube is just hard. And it's like a whole thing, a commitment that I'm trying to do with my lives, but you almost have to get into a pattern of uploading. And I just don't have the editing pipeline down yet. So there's a lot of work I can do there to grow that, but I need help from you guys to at least follow me, get me to 1,000, and then I'll take it from there. But we're good. Everything's good. Every ask that I've asked has been accomplished. Again, I'm scared to ask for YouTube because I know how hard it is, but we'll get there. I'd love to get to to 100 followers on YouTube by the end of the year. That would be awesome. That sounds like nothing, and it's not monetizable, but it's just a nice goal. I mean, it'd be double my subscribers. If everyone on my friends list right now just went and subscribed to my YouTube, it'd be done. That'd be it. So I know that out of 5,000 friends that I maxed out, 5,000 people, what? So I have 5%. So I have 1%. No, 0.1%. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at, right? 10%, 500. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's like 1% or 0.1%. My math. I got a text message. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna wrap. I'm getting tired. I don't see any comments. Let me just make sure there's any on Instagram. I don't see any on Instagram. Can't we accept a female president? Did we? She's pretty fire. Oh, can I please be on your podcast? Oh, look at this. Who is this bold person who's no longer logged in asking to be on the podcast? Yes, everyone can be on the podcast. Not this segment, this one, but you can be on After Hours. Absolutely. Yes. Look at that, folks. We got a new listener. All right. I'll have to figure who that is. I can't tell. All right, I'm going to wrap. I'll cut some of this before I put it in the podcast because I know I kind of stumbled at the end there, but I feel like there's a message in there and hopefully you got entertained. Make sure you check me out this weekend. I'm going to be at a premiere for the folks that were on the show After Hours on Saturday. So I may or may not do a live on Saturday night, but if I do a live, it's probably going to be from the show, from the premiere. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So it's kind of like, my first interview turned into getting invited to a premiere. It kind of feels all fancy and it's cool, right? It's local, but it's dope. And I'm really honored to be a part of it. And it's one of the little fringe benefits, I guess, of interviewing folks that are doing stuff. Love it. And, wouldn't have gone if it weren't for Jason, who kind of pushed me over the edge and said, hey, we'll go and we'll carpool up. So it's going to be a good time. If you don't have tickets, you can certainly, I don't know if you can still buy tickets, but the premiere's on Saturday. And you can see the links below for more information. But that's awesome. And you guys are awesome. And I'll see you guys on Monday, 10:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, Eastern Standard Time. We're not going to miss a beat. We haven't missed a beat yet. We're going to keep going. All right. All right. Have a good night.